The call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of the Pod at the Palace, an unprompted live stream. You know what that means. There's some news with Arkansas basketball, and for the first time in what feels like forever, it's an addition. Arkansas is officially active. John Calipari is officially on the board, and the Razorbacks officially have a center on the roster. And it's not the guy who's visiting right now, although that might come a little bit later. Nick Pringle, South Carolina big man, former Alabama big man, announced his commitment to the Razorbacks today. They're on the board. Should I put in the cliche right now? Once you pop, the fun don't stop. Welcome, Nick Pringle. Andrew Ellis, my man, is here with me. How do you feel about Arkansas getting on the board during portal season? It's about daggum time.
I feel great about it. Like you said, we're really just happy to have something else to talk about other than hypotheticals and, oh, this guy's leaving and this is who's not going to be here. Who is going to be here? And Nick Pringle is going to be here. Not the most stunning announcement. I think this is something that we've seen coming for a while now. Kind of wondered when this announcement might come. I got to be honest, Curtis, did not expect it to come today. While, like you mentioned, Malik Ewan's on campus. We were prepared to go live. We even alluded to it on the
Nope. That dadgum internet will get Andrew from time to time, but he's 100% right. He is 100% right. We were fully prepared to go live for Malik Ewan here. In fact, we had all the graphics and everything ready for it, so I hope that I still get to put that to use. We're in scramble mode just a little bit there when it comes to getting Pringle stuff ready. Kind of thought that might happen after we got something from Malik Ewan, but we'll take it. We'll take anything at this point, man. There's no doubt about it. And good for Arkansas. You know, it's obviously there was a huge need at the position here, right? Calipari walked into the center room. There was no center room. Kenny Payne is down there in the paint, and he's doing like the mic and drill and stuff by himself. Like he's got no big man to whisper to on this roster. Well, now he has one, and this is a very interesting pickup because if you think about the things that Arkansas lacked in the front court all season, it was, especially when Adu was injured, right? It was physicality and defensive rebounding and toughness. And you just wanted to go out there and address that. And this is exactly what a guy like Pringle does. He brings a ton of experience, not just in the SEC, but in the NCAA tournament. He started for Alabama on that Final Four team, and he's had some big games. He's coming off of his best season as a college player, 9.5 points, 6.3 rebounds per game. And, I think if Razorback fans want to remember what he's capable of, they could quickly just turn around and look back to that game in Columbia where South Carolina just beat the brakes off of Arkansas. And he had 18 points, and he worked over Big Z. Outside of that, think about a role guy who's going to do the nasty work for you. He's going to set the heavy screens. He's going to get the most out of his fouls. He's going to play with toughness. Nothing's going to come sweet in the paint against a guy like Nick Pringle. It's exactly what Arkansas was missing, exactly what they needed. Plenty of work left to be done, but it's a good start. We're happy about it. Andrew, welcome back, buddy.
Yeah, we don't have to make any once again, apologies for the internet. We got through all of Inside Arkansas Live today without a hitch at all. But then right as soon as something important happens, I started going off the grid. You mentioned it. When you lose your season the way that you did for Arkansas, how you see a team kind of out physical you, beat you on the glass, you kind of think, oh, man, we need some physicality. We need some big men. Nick Pringle's the kind of body type you have in mind. And we don't have to pretend like this is some big, splashy, fancy toy for Arkansas to play with. It's very clear what this is. This is a meat and potatoes kind of guy right here. But like you said, that's what Arkansas needs. And we know that experience and that skill set is something that this Arkansas team could use. Any team could use something like that. And the experience. I mean, that's a lot of years, a lot of games in the SEC at Alabama and South Carolina. He's a grown man. And as we know, you need grown men in March. And that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. This is cool. We've been waiting for this for what feels like a long time. But honestly, since the Sweet 16, Arkansas loses that game to Texas Tech, and then you're just thinking, well, who's staying, who's going, how quickly are they going to make a splash in the portal? Because under Eric Musselman, it was when the season ended, he was trying to add a dude right away. It's like, hey, let me turn the page to the offseason. We want to get the momentum started. And John Calipari, man, he moves different, right? And it's interesting to me because, obviously the circumstances were different, Andrew, last year with Cal. He took the job, right there around the Final Four and the championship game. got settled in. It didn't have a roster, had to figure some stuff out. But I'm almost positive that Arkansas's first portal commitment this season with Nick Pringle is on the 1-year anniversary of his first portal commitment last season, his first commitment period at Arkansas, which was Big Z. I think it was 1 year ago to the day that Arkansas got Big Z. Somebody could fact check me on that, but I think that's where we're at here. And if that's true, it's crazy. And it almost makes me wonder if it was calculated by the man.
Love that. It's National Cal Gets His Center Day, which is nice. And we thought we might be getting a different center, but hey, we'll take 2, which, by the way, Curtis, the chat's blowing up. We're going to eventually have to talk about this Tyler Eulis tweet. Don't worry, everybody. We're aware. We're going to get to it. But no, it is kind of funny that Nick Pringle is the kind of like piece you add to your team when you have all the other pieces already filled. Like he's kind of a complimentary piece. So it's weird that you got the side dish before you got the entree, but you still need that side dish.
Yeah, no, that's 100% right. And yeah, we saw the Tyler Eulis tweet, the ×2. I bet that you can do the math there on the potential double boom that we're looking at here. The front court could go from nothing to plenty right away. And that's kind of what we're looking for here. So we're going to be on the lookout for that. And no, I'm not going to be following the chat because I know you guys like to troll, but I do got those Twitter notifications turned on if something goes crazy while we're sitting right here, which wouldn't necessarily surprise me. So with Pringle, just looking at some of the performances he had this season, honestly, because you're right. I mean, this is he fits a specific role that you're looking for. I think ideally he is, a backup big man who comes off the bench for you, playing good minutes, bringing that physicality, a really nice compliment to a Malik Ewan, who you're hoping to bring in to be that offensive force in the paint. And this is your defensive force. It's a good pairing that you could potentially have here. But he's had some moments, man, where he's looked pretty good. That Indiana game early in the season, a double-double for him, 13 and 11 on the road against those guys. That's good stuff. He had 19 in a non-conference game earlier in the year, 18 on Clemson, who is an NCAA tournament team, 7 of 8 from the field. Nick Pringle is not a dude who's going to be operating on the perimeter and shooting jump shots and everything. No, he is an around-the-rim guy. Put him in ball screens, get him in the dunker spot, let him get those offensive rebounds, those garbage points. And that's the kind of guy you need in a role like this. What did he do in SEC play? He had a double-double against Auburn and Janai Broom, who was a National Player of the Year candidate there. His best game of the season, if I recall correctly, it was at Tennessee, in Knoxville, 16 points, 14 rebounds. So this is a dude who's capable of giving you some points and some punch in there too. It's just not going to be splashy, right? Everything he does it's tough, it's gritty, it's ugly, and that's what kind of makes it fun. And oh, by the way, he did have 18 and 9 in that game against Arkansas. He was 7-11 from the floor. If you remember the first play of that game, and right away we're like, oh, this is a great start, is he just got the high-low where he just bodied Big Z, got the lob over the top, and then flushed the dunk, and we're like, oh, okay, it's going to be that kind of game for Z, and it was.
You read his numbers there, and this is, I think, this year by far the most minutes he's played, the most production he's had in terms of points, rebounds, and big games, especially in the SEC. And he started a lot of games, like you said, started for a Final Four team at Bama. I think he played in like 50, 60 games for Bama. What I like about this commitment is you have a guy who is used to winning. He's been a part of a winning program. He spent a year at South Carolina where his individual numbers were the best of his career, but he won less than he's ever won. A guy like that is sitting there thinking, man, you know what? It's cool to score 10 and 6 and stuff, but I'd really like to be a part of a real team again. And so you get a guy with that kind of mindset. We talk about that a lot. It's kind of, I hate to say it, I know I'm hard on Tremont Mark. It's the anti-Tremont Mark, a guy who was a role player on a really good team and thought, I want to go be the guy. This is Nick Pringle, who I'm not saying he was the guy. He played with Colin Murray Boyles. He was the guy, but he averaged his highest career points and rebounds, but he wants to be a part of winning. And I also like, again, I mentioned Colin Murray Boyles and some of those guys he played with at Bama. He's used to being around good talents. So it's not like you're bringing some guy who averaged 15 and 10 at South Dakota State, and now he's got to learn how to play against or play near talented guys. Nick Pringle is used to being around talent. He's used to being around winning. He's used to playing in the SEC. There's no way this guy doesn't help your team. The one missing piece in that Arkansas front court, and I'm saying this assuming that Malik Ewan is going to be on board, you still don't really have a ton of rim protection. Like Trevin Brazil is probably your best rim protector on the team, even with these other big men. And so we'll see how Arkansas addresses that. But a lot of things that Arkansas really needed, like just situations you need to clear up. When you have the physicality, glaring difference in the game you lose in the tournament? That's going to be the big question. Arkansas clearly made that a point of emphasis, and I think a lot of fans will really appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure. You know, maybe the underrated aspect of this is his NCAA tournament experience, man. 8 NCAA tournament games that Nick Pringle has played in, 2 years at Alabama with a couple pretty good runs there. And I remember sitting and watching the Elite Eight game with Alabama last year. They were playing Clemson, and they clinched. They won that game. They got to the Final Four. They lost to UConn, which, hell, we know firsthand everybody lost to UConn the last couple of years. But that Elite Eight game against Clemson, he went nuts. Honestly, he was the reason why they won the game. He had 16 points, 11 boards. He had a double-double in that one. Was just physically dominant against those guys in there. So that carries a lot of weight. That's a big deal when you have a guy like that. Because I know when we talked about Pringle, like at some points in like during Inside Arkansas Live, and I've heard a couple people in the chats on the Discord at times being like, yeah, but he did that on a terrible South Carolina team, talking about last year. But I think the full body of work for him matters with what he did at Alabama in a winning program, that postseason experience. And I think it worked out perfectly for him then to go, like you just mentioned, as you were breaking down there, get just a different type of opportunity. And what do you want to do when you make a move like that? You want to have your best season. And that's exactly what he did from a statistical standpoint, which is good to see. You mentioned him playing with Colin Murray Boyles. That obviously took a lot of pressure off of him, especially on the offensive end of the floor. In fact, people were probably doubling off of him onto Murray Boyles. So going to be interesting to see what it looks like for him. But I like the idea of having a big, tough son of a gun in there in the paint paired with a stretch four who can play above the rim, but step out and knock down some threes, handle a little bit on the perimeter in Trevin Brazile. I like the way that works. And then, mentioning the shot blocking, you'll have it there at the four with a guy like Trevin, and then you'll have somebody who will box you out into the stands, right, about 6 rows deep in Nick Pringle. So it's just a good combination. I like it. I'm happy about it. And I think it's just relieving, right, for Razorback fans who've been frustrated as everybody else is kind of filling up their roster and everything. We've just had to do the deal where we're like, hey, we get it. We know it is frustrating, but be patient. Patience is a virtue. Cal operates in silence. They're going to get their guys. He's going to put together an awesome roster. Everybody's having their fun now. It's going to be your turn. Well, now it's finally Arkansas's turn. This excites me. This pleases me. I love it.
Yeah, and perhaps we're doing a lot of assuming by just, adding Malik Ewing to this mix. But, of course, he's on campus. We're really hoping they can get that one locked up, and we'll kind of wait on results there. But particularly when you think about him along with this, because I kind of view this front court addition as kind of a package deal type of thing. Yeah. When you add in a Malik Ewing and you add in what Arkansas has coming back, a lot of guys who can create offense. So it's like Arkansas is not looking, when you bring in a guy like Nick Pringle, you're not looking at him and saying, hey, we need you to bring us X amount of points. We're going to spot you up on low post. We're going to run our offense through you. That's not what you're doing. A lot of times we talk about what a guy isn't and don't appreciate him for what he is. And so with Nick Pringle, like I said, you're getting an adult who has a firm grasp. Like Nick Pringle's not a dummy. He's been in these games, been in these SEC situations. He has a better understanding now as I guess it'll be his 4th, 5th year of college basketball. He has a better understanding of who he is and what he can bring to the table, how to contribute to a winning team. And so excited for him to get that opportunity to show that, because when you come to play for John Calipari at Arkansas, you're going to be around talented guys. And so that's what really intrigues me about this, just all the talented players that he's played with. He knows what talent in the SEC looks like and knows how his skill set works around it, knows who he can attack and how to attack them. And so I definitely think there's something to be said about that. And how many times have we said all year, man, we just wish Arkansas had like a Kamani Johnson type guy, someone like that. Nick Pringle is basically a bigger Kamani Johnson, frankly.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to put it there. 6'10", 220 pounds. I got to be honest with you, and I think we've had this conversation in the past, Andrew, but I look at Nick Pringle, and I don't see 220 pounds. I see more like 240. If that's 220 pounds, the man is carrying it well. He is, like I just saw in the chat there from Nep24680, he said Pringle is a unit. Yeah, that's a big, strong dude, intimidating looking guy. And I'm really interested to get to know him a little bit, because sometimes you see somebody who just plays with that edge and that toughness, and you automatically assume something about their personality. Like, oh, this he's probably mean. He's probably a jerk or whatever. But I've seen some of his interviews and everything. Seems like he's really well-spoken. I know there was a situation with him at Alabama. It was either 2 years ago or 3 years ago where he just got he was suspended from the team for a game or something, or 3 days or something. And I remember Nate Oates saying, hey, listen, it's not, there's no off the court issues or anything like that. We just have a certain standard here, and everybody has to meet it. And then he came back and he never missed a beat. And that's when he kind of emerged as a starter on that team. And it really wound up working out for him. Seems like a learning experience for him. And I heard him talk about that and the maturity and the growth that he found, as he transferred over to South Carolina. So when you have an old head like that, and he's going to be coming in as, I would assume a senior, then there could be a leadership aspect of that as well, which will be interesting. So, and folks, by the way, we see your chats, and we're going to get into it because this is a reaction show for sure. And we appreciate it. So, your comments, your questions, whatever, get them in there and we'll get to as many as we can. With the roster now, as we're looking at it, newcomers, you got 4 freshmen, you got Darius Acuff, Malik Thomas, the 2 McDonald's All-Americans, Isaiah Sealy, the local guy, Springdale wing, and then Kareem Rattel, the 20-year-old freshman, right, who was playing some pro ball overseas, probably more of a project. Right now, we're expecting, until we're told otherwise, 4 returners in Carter Knox, Billy Richmond, DJ Wagner, and Trevin Brazil. And then now you add your post player there in Nick Pringle. So as I'm looking at the potential rotation, I'm thinking about 7 deep right now. And knowing that John Calipari wants to go deeper than he did last year, you look at it and you think, okay, they're probably good for 3, maybe 4 more meaningful additions over the course of the rest of the portal season here.
Am I good? Is my internet good right now?
You're back. You're little, we can hear you fine.
Okay. I was kind of wondering, I was like, oh, I hope he doesn't call me, and I'm in a tough place here. But yeah, like we said earlier, this Arkansas team, regardless of how it shakes out, and there's still some possibilities to find out what our entree is going to be here instead of, because Nick Pringle is a side dish. But Arkansas is going to have guys that can create offense pretty much at every spot. And so that's what I really like about this Nick Pringle.
We lost him again. That's okay. Producer John let me know that we do have that Tyler Eulis tweet up here. So just wanted to pull it up there. Good little Denzel boom action. Double boom. I love that. I love when assistant coaches do that kind of stuff. We didn't get a whole lot of that with Arkansas in the past. With like Muss, as online as he was, we didn't get a whole bunch of those. We're letting you know something is getting ready to happen kind of things on the recruiting front. And I've always appreciated it. I know that, there's, I think Dennis Gates, he puts out, does he do like the bat signal or something? Or there's like a photo of himself. Like he's got to tell, I know Kentucky's got an assistant that always puts out tweets when they're getting ready to get a pop. So this is kind of cool. I got to give some respect to Eulis for this one. And, you just got to be right. We assume he knows what he's talking about.
We would get the post one, the living the life, or
exactly
it's time or whatever. I also see Trey here says that Ronnie Brewer has retweeted the Eulis tweet, so we got like double confirmation from the staff. Not that Tyler Eulis himself isn't enough, but you get 2 guys now. All of a sudden, now it's a fact.
That's right. All right, folks, we're going to get into your chats, but before we do, always got to remind you. Who's sponsoring, man? Who is responsible for all the transfer portal coverage here with the Pod at the Palace? And it's nice to be able to do a live stream edition version of it instead of the 6 o'clock in the morning things or guess what? So-and-so is leaving. But it's our friends over at the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas. Guys, if you're tired of misplacing your reading glasses or missing the big plays during the games or not being able to read the tweet that says so-and-so just committed to Arkansas because the eyes are bugging you, go give them a shot. Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas. They can fix that for you. We know that your vision is essential to the quality of life. Professional eye care is a must for you and your family. They've got it all. Award-winning eye doctors, board-certified and professionally active physicians there. But their patients talk about that bedside manner, right? They make you feel like you're right at home. They make you feel like you're part of the family. It's the perfect combination of what they've got going on there. A couple things that you can be on the lookout for with them. They offer custom cataract surgery and custom refractive lens exchange surgery right there inside their clinic location in Fayetteville. If you want to know what that is, RLE, it's for people 40 years of age or older who are starting to struggle with near vision. They want to get rid of their glasses. They want to get rid of their contacts, but they don't qualify or they're not candidates for that LASIK surgery that everybody's getting. RLE is an alternative option for you. So if you're interested in that, you want to see if you qualify, give them a call, 479-442-2020, or hop over to the website, give them a look there. It's www.eyecenternwa.com for more information. We certainly appreciate them. Let's get into the chat, man. Let's see how everybody's feeling. It seems like they're buzzing a little bit. Man, Arkansas fans needed this.
I expected a little more, angst.
Yeah. I mean, my goodness. If they get 2 in one day, they're not going to know what to do with themselves.
Yeah.
And what will happen is we'll get to tomorrow or later tonight or something, and people will be like, so what's next? You know how it is.
Yeah.
What's next? Is that it? Really? Now we just have to sit here for a few weeks or something? What's going on?
To be fair, it is kind of crazy that the Pringle one came first.
I know. It really is. It kind of threw me. I'm not going to lie. And the only part of the notification I saw at first, and shout out to Matt Zenitz for getting that, was South Carolina, or former South Carolina forward Nick Pringle. And I was like, what happened? There's no way he's committing right now. Did he commit somewhere else? Is he staying in the draft? What's really going on here? It's crazy, but there we are. It's funny because we were just talking about this on Inside Arkansas Live. I think it was one of our buy or sells. Will Arkansas get a football portal commit before they get a basketball one? Evan, you're right. Before any football recruits.
Yeah.
I mean, we're starting to wonder. So this is nice, man. Feels good for sure. Also important here. Somebody get my man Pinto some Wright's barbecue or something. He's been going through it. I mean, the liquid diet's like a week old by now. So I'm sure he has already sprinted out the door to wherever he needs to go. CJ's, Wright, something, man. Take care of the man.
Just in time for $2 hot dog day at Bomb. How about that?
That's right. That's right. Well, if you were on a fast, a solid food fast like that for several days, and then you got the news you needed to get that would allow you to eat something of substance, what would be your go-to?
Ooh, I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't want to piss anybody off, but I guess
you just go food in general, what would be the first, I mean, I would probably just go devour an entire pizza or something.
Yeah. Pizza would be up there. Pizza is a consistent, hard to go wrong, but I think I would have to go the burger route. And so, I'm not going to specify which burger I would go to because, who knows who will be in business with, or who will be in business with us. But, right. I would probably go the burger route because I would make me feel the grossest, and that's what you would want in that situation.
Arkansas says, no matter what happens, we have a full starting 5 now. This is true.
Yeah.
You do. And it makes sense positionally. So if we had to do it right now, what would you do? Would you insert one of the freshmen, or would you go with the 4 returners and Pringle?
So yeah, your 4 returners, you'd have DJ, Carter,
Billy, Trevin, Nick Pringle. Not bad.
That's the first day of practice. Whenever they have to line up there, that would be the group. But really, it would be Ewan over Pringle. Let's be real.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yes.
Yeah. Then you have a 6-man. You have a bench. But no, it's cool. And I'm going to be really anxious to see how this roster winds up playing out. Do they wind up? Obviously, they've got to fill some needs here still in the front court. And even if you get Ewan, I'm of the belief that you need to go out and get a 3rd big man, just so you're not worried about, a rolled ankle here or the flu bug there or whatever. Just give yourself plenty of depth to where it's not an issue like it was this year. But I wonder if they're going out, after Ewan to make, and they'll get some, some role guys. We know that they still need to address shooting and some different things. But if they're going to go out and get another dude, right, another stud, another impact type guy, I wonder where they would fit, because we've been zeroed in on some of these backcourt guys, Andrew, and it's interesting because we've been looking at it this whole time thinking, well, if DJ Wagner comes back, how is it really gonna work? Because you'd have him, and we know the role he'll probably command. You got 2 McDonald's All-Americans, you got Carter and Billy coming back for year 2 at the 1 through 3. How would you really fit another body in there? But then who have we been talking about? Ian Jackson, sounds like that's obviously trending in another direction. Lamar Wilkerson, they never really made the push for him. He's off to Indiana. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then, Jaron Pierre, who just made a lot of sense, who I would have pursued heavily. And then it turns out that, the visit that was rumored to have happened over the weekend didn't. And they were involved with him. They recruited him and talked to him and everything. but it never really got that serious from what I understand. And so if they're not pursuing there aggressively, for the top end guys, would it be more of a jumbo wing? And I know we've talked about guys like Jameer Watkins, guys like Darion Williams out of Texas Tech, who might take a while because they're going through that draft process. And then if they withdraw from that, then they're going to be available late, and there's only going to be a handful of teams that'll be able to bid on them. I just wonder if Arkansas holds out a spot and some of that change for a guy like that.
Yeah, someone like Watkins that could kind of fill in a little in the front court. Really, if you get shooting, I don't care where it comes from, honestly.
But
I think positional versatility is probably the key here, where you have a guy who could maybe handle the ball a little bit, but really he's like more of a wing type, where you could kind of mix him, where him and Carter can play together, and it's really not an issue because both those guys are versatile. That'd probably be the way to go, but there's not a ton of those guys out there. I saw Adam Miller needs a new home.
I saw that too. Yeah, I saw Arkansas made the contact there. And I speculated at the time, I think I was maybe talking about in the Discord, like it's just not going to happen. He's not going to come here. But the more I think about it, if they did try to go make a more of a heavy hitter edition, kind of at that 3-4 hybrid spot like that, it would make sense to get a veteran, ball handler in the backcourt, just a little extra insurance, somebody that can knock down threes. He hasn't historically been a great 3-point shooter, but I think he shot about 40% at Arizona State this past year. I wonder, though, how Arkansas fans would feel about that after his altercation with Anthony Black and then the tweet that he sent out throwing shade while he was at LSU. Would bygones be bygones at that point if he became a Hog? Or
I mean, John Calipari is the head coach, so you know what I mean. I think bygones can be bygones a lot.
John Calipari never slapped your point guard, but it's he was a hated man for sure. But it's gonna be fun to follow, no doubt about it. Let's see what else we got in here. Yeah, we're not gonna spend much time on this, but it is. Big Red says, "I'm just glad Kentucky didn't get Lamar Wilkerson." By the way,
never get Curtis,
and I am too. It's like I said on the show earlier. I wanted nothing to do with my last name being on the back of a Kentucky jersey. That would have been a really tough pill to swallow. I'm still salty about it though with Lamar, because we know Arkansas needs shooting. We know it's been a trouble issue for them. And then you've got a kid from Ashdown, in your own backyard who's done it at such a high level. It just seemed to me like a very logical addition that wouldn't have been that difficult for Arkansas to make, frankly. And they didn't, and they didn't go all in on it. They didn't pursue it. They had some other priorities there. Not the choice I would have made, but I'm not the Hall of Fame head coach that's putting together this roster either. So you trust the plan, you move on. We'll see what they come up with. I would have loved to seen Lamar Wilkerson in a Razorback jersey. But hopefully, if nothing else here, they add somebody who can shoot the ball in the same realm as him, because that's the biggest thing for me, is finding somebody who can knock it down from the perimeter.
Yeah, like I said, I don't care where the shooting comes from as long as the shooting is there. But I do love it that it backfired on BBN, trying to dunk on you for saying, hey, I'd prefer for this good player to not go to Kentucky, who is, like a rival. And people were like trying to like throw that in your face. Like that was somehow, like you said, a gotcha. And then they didn't even get the guy. And it's like, all right, well, my fears have been alleviated and you're shit out of luck. So
it's what I keep trying to tell BBN is like, this banter, this back and forth, it's all part of the rivalry. And there's going to be times where Arkansas is having all the fun and when Kentucky's having all the fun. And it was Kentucky for the longest this season. And then Arkansas got that win in Rupp, shut them up for a long time. And then it was the back and forth throughout the tournament and everything. And then it became a deal to where Kentucky was making all their moves early in the portal and Arkansas is not doing anything. And what do we say? The tide is eventually going to turn. You're going to run out of spots. Arkansas is going to get all their guys. And you're just going to have to sit there.
Yeah.
And that's about where you're at right now.
I know you said we didn't want to talk about it too much, and we're not going to, but I did want to just put on this last thing because John here is our producers, filling us in with the good stuff. Did you see? I believe it was Goodman that had the quote from Wilkerson that said, "I didn't want to go to Kentucky and be just another guy." And then Matt Jones apparently tweeted and said, "You can't come play at Kentucky or one of the Blue Bloods if you don't want to be just another guy. Like you have to want the challenge and not run from it." Which, like, I guess, but I don't know. That's kind of how recruiting works, though.
It sounds to me like a bunch. It feels like they might be a little bit too big for their britches, And that's kind of how I feel about it. Whatever. The student section. Just can't wait to see the Brazil flags and the Pringle cans in the student section.
That's
Agreed.
good stuff. It is true.
And I'm going to be that guy that I've got to go out to the store later. And I mean, we're still waiting on our oven to get delivered. That's tomorrow. And part of dinner was mac and cheese tonight. And it's like, well, we can't make that because we don't have a stovetop right now. So I'm going to go out and get the kind that you can just throw in the microwave or whatever. While I'm out, I'm going to get some Pringles. Like I'm going to do that for sure. So, producer John in the background with the Pringles can there. That's the question. Are you a Pringles guy, by the way?
I like Pringles. I wouldn't have a Pringles guy.
Are you an original? Do you have a flavor that you prefer?
I like the original. I don't know if I've experimented too much with Pringles.
Those are good. Sour cream and onions, good. Barbecue's okay. I'm gonna have to look. Yeah. I'll look. Yeah, we might have to do
original. You can't go wrong with the original. It's solid.
The original's good. Yeah,
today, from like right before the show to about an hour ago, I bagged an entire bag of baked Lay's, and I feel bad about it.
Those are solid. Those are real solid. The baked Lay's are underrated, in my opinion. Student section again says, Curtis, seen how much South Carolina played high-low with Colin Murray-Boyles and Pringle. Can we see Ewan and Pringle run some of that this year with the play style similarities? I don't get the sense that you would see a lot of Pringle and Ewan playing together. Now, if anybody would do it, it'd be John Calipari. I mean, he played Big Z and Jonas Adu together at times out of necessity there. From an offensive standpoint, Pringle's pretty limited getting further away out from the rim. Ewan is very gifted. And the way you could make it work is because he's such a good passer and he's so good in ball screen action that you could get some roll and replace type action going and work that high-low, which could be interesting. I don't think we'll see a lot of it, but again, it also depends on the kind of depth that they go out and get because they had to do it this year by necessity, right? If you have a situation where those are kind of your two big men and let's say Trevin rolls an ankle and he's out of a game and you can't afford to go small by dropping Carter Knox down to the 4 or something, you might have to do something like that. It will kind of depend on the roster makeup too. But I'm open to a little bit of anything, man.
Colin Murray-Boyles shot a little bit of three. He had some 3-ball to him, right? Like he would at least attempt him.
He would get him up there a little bit. Pretty strong off the bounce, and creative there. Could attack from the short corner and stuff in the high post. But Ewan can do some of that too. I mean, he's gifted offensively. I'll give him that. And the interesting thing about it is he's, Ewan's 6'11", 240 or whatever it is. And he's a little bit better facing up or attacking off the dribble or rolling off of ball screens or whatever than he is just going back to the basket and making a post move, which is kind of interesting to me. But I think fans they're going to like both of these guys a lot. Pringle strikes me as the kind of guy that will endear the fan base the same way who you sort of compared him to earlier, Kamani Johnson did. And, Ewan's going to do that in the same way that Jalen Graham did. Ewan is a better basketball player than Jalen Graham, more complete, more well-rounded. But the offensive game in terms of some of the things he can do and face you up and put you in the spin cycle, like he's got that kind of bag in there. So
Graham had a bag, man. Like that's definitely like if you're going to compare anybody to Jalen Graham and make it a positive, the post skill set and the scoring skill set is certainly something he had. I also do think, like when I think about this Arkansas team, we'll see how they match up against SEC squads. There's going to be several games in the non-conference where they are just physically imposing all over people. It's going to be nasty. Can't
wait. I really can't wait. I wish the season started tomorrow, even though they barely have enough to field a team at the moment. So what we got here? Yeah, I mean, we all remember that game. We talked about it a little bit. Big Red says Pringle bullied Big Z. Yeah, he did, man. There's no doubt about it. In the physicality department, Arkansas just got an uptick for sure. And the other thing I'll say about Pringle too is, we talked about how his effectiveness is just all around the rim. There's some versatility there to him on the defensive end of the floor. So like Arkansas's pick and roll defense that they struggled with, you'll see some improvement there with a guy like Nick Pringle involved. And then he's also good in transition. Like he's a solid rim runner and everything as well. So I don't want to make it sound like he's only effective, just hanging out, grabbing offensive rebounds. Like there's more to it than that, but it's going to be an interesting deal. Austin from work says, appreciate you guys hopping right back on. Best coverage in the state. That's how it's been with all these. And thank you, by the way, for that. But we've either been at the tail end of Inside Arkansas Live and something happened like it did with Thero, but between Boogie and Big Z and then now Pringle, it's been, not too long after we wrap up the show that we're hopping right back to it.
I hope they continue this trend of the timing consistency. I'm going to give Brewer credit for that.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
He's helping us out.
Yeah, he is for sure. And yeah, like Trey said, Ronnie Brewer retweeted Tyler Eulis's tweet, and that's good. I feel like this is something that Brew has probably always wanted to do. And now him and Ronnie Brewer and Tyler Eulis just strike me as a good combination of staff members who could bring a little bit of this kind of social media presence that you like. That's good stuff there.
Well, they could also be a buddy cop movie because one of them's small, one of them's big, and that always works. That combo always works.
This is also true, and they're both ballers too. Like they both got the resume there, so
they could play well together on the floor. I mean,
hey man, he'd be diming Ronnie.
Like
up.
if you had another point guard on staff, that'd probably be a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure. What do we call Brad?
He's a 2 guard.
2.
Yeah, he's like a combo.
Yeah.
He'll fill the 2. Ronnie at the 3, kind of 3-4 can defend.
Brad's like the DJ Wagner of this operation.
You get Trey Thompson in, now you got your 4-man who can pass out of the post.
Yeah. Oh goodness. BJ Young's gonna be at the baseball game.
BJ. I'm gonna be looking for you, BJ. If you see me, BJ, you better come say what's up. I'm gonna be looking for you.
We have a contract for you to sign for the 3-on-3 tournament. It's called being on our team. So
called we're replacing John with you. So help us out.
Yeah. Sorry, John. John can be our 4th man. Is what we'll
the 4th man.
John might low key be good at basketball. I don't know. You think he's a hooper?
I feel like he would have told us if he were good. Like it would have come up in conversation.
Yeah. You're probably right. Wow. Okay. I wonder when we're going to get this extra bit of news. Like there's part of me that wants to just, hey, like we've talked about it or we've reacted. This is awesome. Let's save some meat on the bone and get out of here and come back. But then I also feel like if we hop off here, then, 7 minutes later, the other one's going to pop. I'm in a little bit of a pretzel here.
Well, I'm going to give you a chance to either spell doom for the Hogs or relieve a bunch of fans. West Side Jacoby says, Curtis, are you worried if Ewan leaves Fayetteville without committing?
I damn sure am now. I don't get the sense that that's going to happen necessarily. And that was the big thing. Like Arkansas has been in the lead here, strong position. People want to call it a silent commit or whatever. And like I've always said, to me in transfer portal season, silent commit means you're just open for business. You're either all the way in and it's out there or you're not. But Arkansas has been the front runner. They've been in great position here. He's been prioritized. They love the fact that they could get a big man there at the 5 who could really, really score it. They like the compliment here between the two. So I would expect this to get done sooner rather than later. At this point though, especially, I mean, good Lord, after what we just got from Eulis and Ronnie Brewer there, if he leaves campus without the public announcement going out, I will not be as freaked out about it as I would have been otherwise. Right. Cause it's all about like, oh, you don't want him to get to Mississippi State and everything like that. But I just don't think that's going to be a thing after what we're just seeing here.
Yeah, no. If he tweets on Thursday night, Starkville, what it do? See you tomorrow. That's when I'll be like, all right, damn.
yeah. That would be a little bit weird because then we'll be doing the thing where we're like, wait, was it not for him? Is there somebody else? And we could just kind of continue to wonder about the mystery man. There's always a mystery man. And there was a mystery man last night with Ewan as he was out at Roos Chris or whatever. It was like somebody was with him and people were like, who is this? Who could it be? Is it Jameer Watkins? Is it, who knows?
By the way, I guess before we really get out of this joint, we need to probably address the Nick Pringle NBA draft allegations. Because he is technically like testing the waters. Yeah, I mean, I think we're on the same page here, but like just to be clear, you don't think that's much of a concern, right? Like, there's not a way Nick Pringle's staying in the draft.
Nick Pringle is not going to get drafted. He is a very good college basketball player. You'll be all right there. I would imagine, and who knows if he even like fully submitted his name and everything. I think he just kind of indicated that's what he planned on doing, but yeah, he's not going pro.
That would be a surprise, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. All right. Any final thoughts on Nick Pringle before we get out of here?
No, I think we effectively covered the Nick Pringle edition, which is, I mean, it is a big one, both in literal size, and it's just nice to get the ball rolling. Like I said earlier, this is not like a portal commit that's going to be like you tell your grandkids about. It's like, oh, this is the guy, but this is a necessary piece, and I'm glad Arkansas got it, and looking forward to seeing who all is joining Nick Pringle.
Yeah, me too, for sure. Well, hey, we appreciate everybody for tapping in with us, for hopping back in shortly after we got off of a different stream there. Good stuff. Arkansas, John Calipari, they're on the board for the first time during portal season. They've got a big man. Are they about to get another one? We think so, and we'll probably see a little bit later if and when that happens. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you get subscribed to our YouTube channel, Inside Arkansas. Find us, The Pod at the Palace, wherever you find your podcast, Spotify, Apple, you name it, we're over there. And we'll catch you guys a little bit later. So for Andrew Ellis, it's been Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas on The Pod at the Palace. Y'all have a good day.